Knightline is brought to you by the Dever Team, your source for New Smyrna Beach real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Go to www.thedeverteam.com and call UCF alumni Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach needs. 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636.
Welcome to UCF Knightline, your source for UCF sports and former player information.
Hello, Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley coming to you from the 1148 studios, and this is Knightline 172 from the award-winning Knightline Sports Network. Joining me as always,
Trace Trylko. Hello, everyone. Through the wins and the losses, the trophies and the bowl games, the ups and the downs, we bleed black and gold. We are Night Nation, united now more than ever. Ohana.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family.
That's right, we are family, which is what the Hawaiian word ohana means, a larger family, not necessarily connected by blood. All of us in Night Nation have rallied behind the heart and soul of our undefeated football Knights. Our signal caller, Mackenzie Milton.
Tough weekend.
Oh man. Yeah, it's been a tough weekend for sure.
I thought for sure we would be celebrating off the top of this show, 172, a Black Friday win over the Cows, which is so insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
Yep. I never got to enjoy this victory whatsoever. The thing is, an undefeated season and a win over your biggest rival, and you kind of goes off the wayside. This is going to be a difficult thing to talk about for me. You heard me. You talked to me, which you said that you didn't even remember on the post-game show. You didn't remember too much of it.
Which, as we were talking before we went to record, there's a professionalism that comes with sitting in the press box, and I've been a journalist for a number of years, and I know the rules of this, and I'm also a UCF alum, and it was a gut punch, and it wasn't until I phoned you during Knightline Postgame Live that the weight of everything that had happened really started to hit me, the enormity, because there was so much uncertainty, which I want to talk to you a little bit about as well, because you have medical experience. I think most of us, you've played the game, so most of us are Monday morning quarterbacking when we talk analysis, but you've played, and you have medical experience as a paramedic. We knew that this was a bad thing that had happened, but I don't think we quite understood the enormity of it.
Yeah, I've been a paramedic for 27 years. If people people that don't know me don't know that. And it doesn't make me a medical expert by any means, but I've seen injuries like this before on the football field and off the football field, in industrial accidents, all kinds of other things. People have knee injuries. This one is particularly bad. He dislocated his knee. And anytime that you dislocate your knee, not only do you worry about the damage to the knee, but there's a big artery that runs right behind your knee, because of the way that it bends, it's a beautiful design. The body was designed beautifully for certain things, not sports. Anytime you dislocate your knee, there's an artery. I already said this, but there's an artery behind your knee that you always, always, always worry about. And that, when I saw the picture on the TV, when the play happened, I noticed that he went down kind of funny. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then they zoomed in on his leg, and his leg was obviously going a different direction than it should have. And what I noticed immediately I've worked in emergency rooms for a number of years, and I've seen these things, and I know what happens. I saw from his knee down, his leg looked to me to be about double the size that it would normally be. And with my medical knowledge, what that tells me is there's either the blood flow was probably cut off to that area. Now, when I saw them put him on the cart, it was a completely different story, and I didn't see that. So maybe when they reduced the knee to get him in that splint, reduced by means put it back where it was supposed to be. Maybe it wasn't in socket, but it was at least was in line where it should be in the splint. It didn't look to me like it was really swollen. It may have been the angle of TV, maybe not. But to me, it just looked really, really swollen. Now, the next thing that I saw was that he wiggled his toes and moved his foot. And that's an extremely good sign as well. And I also saw the doctor that was there, who is a Jewett orthopedic surgeon that is on the field with the Knights at all times. Not on the field, but on the sideline at all times. He was on the field. He took a marker and marked the pulse that was on the top of Mackenzie's foot. Somebody did. Either the paramedic that was there or the doctor. I think it was the doctor from what I remember, because I vividly remember that because I was watching for that. So he marked the pulse. So that means he did have a pulse, and they were marking where they found it before so they could find it easily the next time. So that's, good. But this is an injury that's not like... The easiest way that I can explain it is it's not a thing where it's not just a return to football thing. It's way, way bigger than that.
And you were telling me earlier that for folks that may be familiar, and if you're not, look up Teddy Bridgewater's situation.
Yeah.
And that was a 19-month recovery.
And you remember everybody was worried about Teddy Bridgewater losing his leg. That's what kind of injury this was.
And that's what makes this all the more scary. You mentioned the doctor from Jewett. I had him do my ACL.
Right.
And this goes beyond ACLs and MCLs and all of that.
This is beyond his knee needing to be fixed.
And
This
I think
is
that's
way
what Night
beyond
Nation,
that.
once they, you're in the stands or
Right.
wherever you are, and there wasn't a lot of information shared, but they took him to the hospital immediately.
Yeah.
And for many hours,
And
he was in surgery.
Many hours he was in surgery, yeah. And that was fixing stuff up to make sure he could save his leg. That's what that was.
Which is hard to hear.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's hard to think about. I mean, for anybody, especially, a player that you care about and is a good dude and all that stuff. I'm going to try to, keep my composure here. I'm a pretty emotional person, so, yeah, it was bad, and I knew it was bad from the beginning. So,
and the word is from family. You've been in conversation with family that surgery has gone well. This is a long road to recovery for Mackenzie Milton. There's still more to come in terms of repair of his knee. But just as we go to record, you had spoken with Mackenzie's family, and you can share some information with Knightline's listeners.
yeah, so I got this message. Please bear with me. I might have to start over here. All right, and this is already take number 2 of this. So this comes from Mackenzie's dad. Please tell your listeners that KZ really appreciates the support and prayers from Night Nation. The team of doctors and trainers from UCF, South Florida, and Tampa General Hospital worked late into Friday night, Saturday morning, and conducted what appears to be a successful surgery. He looks forward to supporting his teammates' quest for another conference championship. So, and I talked to them just a little while ago as well about something completely different. And so he's doing well. A lot of you have seen that he's on Instagram and all that stuff already, and showing pictures of his girlfriend that's his nurse and all that stuff. So it's good. It's just, I don't think that right now everything's not fixed. It's going to be fixed at a later time. This is going to be a long, long road for Mackenzie to ever get back to where he was before, if he ever gets back to where he was before.
Most important right now is that the word, and you shared that things look positive out of the Friday surgery, that it was addressed immediately. Went late into the night, into the early morning hours.
It was about 1:30 in the morning when I told him, I asked his dad to just let me know, because I wasn't going to sleep, honestly, until I knew that he was out of surgery and things went well. I really like, these guys are entertaining for us. And when you get to know them like we do, interviewing them and talking to them and all that, it's
watching them grow up. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, remember the first time we met Mackenzie at a media day his freshman year, and he had the big longboard, skateboard.
Yep.
And he's really grown and matured in a short period of time before our eyes.
Absolutely. So
This
it's
is
unfortunate that injuries happen to people, and sometimes they're really bad injuries. Sometimes they're injuries that you can just pop back up from. Walk it off. This is not something that you're going to walk off.
And I know some medical professionals that we follow on Twitter were criticized by our fans because it's still raw and emotional. You're not diagnosing.
Yeah,
Mackenzie,
I'm not diagnosing.
You're talking about nearly 3 decades. Boy, you're old.
Yeah.
Nearly 3 decades of experience.
I can tell you,
this.
and I'm sure that some people aren't going to believe me or whatever. That doctor that was commenting on Twitter had nothing but just trying to give information. He was spot on with what he said. So if you didn't want to believe it and that's why you were mad at him for saying that, that's one thing. But to just kind of be mean to him because he gave us his opinion and all that's not really cool. So,
and what you're talking about, what he's talking about, is just an observation. You're not
just the way that I just did.
You're not the physician.
Yeah.
You're not examining the knee.
Right.
You're not having the conversation with Mackenzie and his family. Everybody's healing ability is different.
Right.
We don't know the extent. It could be a better case scenario than
Every
we know.
time that someone dislocates their knee, I don't care if it's grandma that does it going down the stairs or dad that does it tripping over the dog. Any time that somebody dislocates their knee, there is always, always, always a question of the artery if it's in the right spot or it got nicked or whatever. Always. And especially in a traumatic football injury with the amount of force that it takes to dislocate a knee is huge. So it's just the way that it is, and it sucks.
And there's recovery from the surgery before you even begin to process what happens next in terms of reconstruction or repair. That's not even on the table for some weeks. I'll tell you what, I was most surprised when I had my ACL. I thought, okay, when are we doing it? We getting right to it? It took weeks. Swelling had to go down. I went to therapy to strengthen my knee, which was very counterintuitive to me, that I was balancing on one leg at the rehab facility, in order to strengthen it. There's a lot that goes into this.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we all know how strong Mackenzie is of a kid and his attitude and how much of a baller that he is. Everybody calls him a baller. That's all going to help him in this. It's only going to make everything easier for him. Although it'll make it harder for him too, because he'll want to do his thing faster than he probably should. I guarantee you it's killing him sitting in a bed right now watching football last night, I bet.
And coming up, we talked to former UCF quarterback Kyle Israel, and he talks about some previous injury situations he's had in the mental game, mental game that goes into this. I shared with you on Post-Game Live, standing on the field and talking to you with just the guy on the tractor who, by the way, yelled at me. I wasn't paying it, not the best moment in the world, but I'm talking to you on Post-Game Live, not paying a lot of attention to where I am. I'm in an empty stadium now, and the tractor guy's yelling at me that I'm on his field as he's mowing the grass. So what struck me is obvious emotion from the players and from Coach Heupel after the game, but their determination to win that game for KZ, the strength and the character of these players. We talked so much about whether it was Scott Frost or the players, and would they continue on without Scott Frost? Oh, by the way, lost in all of this. 11-0.
Yeah.
A perfect record, and a lot of good character guys on this team that they were able to separate. While their thoughts never left him, they talked about how they kept thinking about him. Remember, they weren't on Twitter. They weren't listening to the broadcast. They didn't know what was going on. They had a game to play. What a challenging moment for them. But you can hear in their voices, you've got several of those sound clips, really hard for them to carry on, but carry on they did.
And also the coaching staff did a wonderful job of helping them carry on as well. I mean, because it's hard to see. So here's what Josh Heupel had to say when he was asked about KZ.
Obviously, traumatic injury out on the field. All of our thoughts and prayers are with him right now. I'm not going to discuss anything right now, just until medically I get more information. Our guys, they care deeply about everybody on our football team, and certainly Mackenzie as well. You could tell by their reaction, wanting to be over, near him, by him, support him with everything that was going on in that moment. It's hard. And I'm proud of our kids, just the resiliency to come back from something like that happens and continue to play football, because this game didn't matter, and our performance, the next 2.5 quarters matter. And I'm proud of the way they finished the ball game. Obviously, all of our thoughts and prayers are with Mackenzie at this time. I'm on the far sideline, so I haven't seen the injury firsthand as far as how it unfolded during the course of the play. When I went over them, the doctors are around them. My immediate concern is one, just his well-being, and two, his mental state as well, and just told him that I love him.
Was it hard for you to stay focused the rest of the game, or just get right back to the game plan?
Your thoughts continue to be with the kid when he's going through something like he's going through. At the same time, I thought our entire football team was able to put enough thought into what we were doing to go execute and go play well.
What did you say to him when you went and saw him?
I just said I love him, and that's really it. You know what I mean?
What did he say?
He was, aware, and said the same thing back.
All right, well, that's the voice of a concerned coach there. I don't care what you have to say as far as that goes, but obviously it's hard on a coach, hard on a first-year coach, and he's done an amazing job with this for sure. Lots of weird injuries this year as far as the very first game of the season and the very last game of the regular season. Two tough ones.
And that first game was the kickoff, too.
Yeah.
What a jarring moment for Coach Heupel and the team.
Absolutely.
When you talk about, again, how hard it is to win 24 games in a row, it's adversity like this that they have worked through. When you look back, and we honored the seniors last week, they get another senior day of sorts in the American Championship, that this group has gone through coaching changes and injuries. I know every team has experiences like this, but what a group to persevere through all of this and string together 24 wins.
Absolutely. All right, so here's a couple other people talking about Mackenzie. First is Daryl Mack, then I'm going to play Greg McCrae, and then Richie Grant.
I was just praying for him, praying that he's okay, praying that no matter what happens, that God got his hand over him, and just trying to pray for my brother.
How difficult is it to go into that situation with everything that's swimming around in your mind?
It's real difficult, just seeing him go down, him being our guy.
So you carrying his jersey out there again?
Yeah, definitely. Very, very emotional for me. I'm always around him, so just seeing that, it kind of hurts my heart. It's my guy. I'm around him. Like I said, I'm around him all the time. Just praying for him, making sure, hoping he's okay.
It was heartbreaking because Mackenzie Milton's a great person. It wasn't about Mackenzie Milton, the football player, that you guys see all the time. It was him as a person. Seeing that happen to him, it was devastating. To the whole team. So we all ride around that and try to use that as our motivation and energy to play for him.
We have a relentless group. Our brotherhood is for real. A lot of teams say they have brotherhood, but this one is for real. And our group is relentless, so we rally behind each other. And we play for each other, play for 10.
Our players, they care about Mackenzie and truly love him. And not just Mackenzie, they love one another. And they care deeply about one another. At the same time, when he was carted off, our guys flipped the switch and said, shit, we got a game to still go play, and we have a job to do, and let's go do it at a high level. Just really proud of him.
All right, so I threw a Josh Heupel clip in there as well, but it's cool to see how these guys. You hear about it all the time. These players love each other. These players love each other. Well, you heard it there, and then you can feel it. And these guys rallied, really rallied deep down inside to go out there and win that game. It was not easy. I can guarantee it.
You have a couple of days to prepare for Netflix. You think you can handle it?
Oh. Yeah, that one's going to be rough, man.
Ooh, man, I think it'd be tough on those folks in athletics who have to put the videos and the pictures together.
They do such a great job. I just have to say right here about that. I mean, that is some of the most incredible video footage that is around. And the package that they put together every week is insane. It is absolutely awesome. I don't think there's any other school out there that does anything like what they're doing.
And remember, they've won awards for documentaries and the like.
Yeah, in fact, on Saturday, I think it was Saturday, I was remembering watching the one from the week before. I think I watched it over again, and I messaged Eric DeSalvo. I'm like, please put these things on a DVD or something. And he said that they can't sell it because of the copyrighted music. But he sent me a link for on Twitter or something where you could bookmark it, and they were all there, like all together. So for the whole season. So there's one more for the regular season, and that one might be. I'm sure they're not going to show it, but it'll be hard to watch for sure. So
tough.
Daryl Mack did a wonderful thing too. By the way, he ran around out there after the game with a Mackenzie Milton jersey.
Yeah, and the outpouring of support. You've heard that from the Milton family directly. Has been overwhelming. Anybody and everybody in the world of athletics, from
Kirk Herbstreit was one of the very first people to say
Reese
something.
Davis, Tua, the quarterback and friend of Mackenzie's quarterback at Alabama, locally, Orlando Magic posting, Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer posting on their social media accounts.
Tua also, during his game at Alabama the other day, wore the crosses on his face with the eye black like Mackenzie did the other day. During the Washington State game on Saturday or on Friday night, you saw a guy out there that had a 10 in the black on his arm. Throughout the weekend, you saw players, doing tributes. So,
and I said it on social media at the time. A tip of the hat to the players who came from the Tampa school and surrounded the UCF players. They knew the magnitude of this, and the fans were respectful. Obviously, there's idiot fans all over the place,
right,
and there's some that have popped up. I'm not even going to waste energy. There's too much.
There was a hell of a lot of players, though, and staff members. I mean, the Cows staff, their medical staff, was there before anybody else was because it happened right in front of them, and they ran directly to him. So you can, it's a bitter, nasty rivalry, but there's just things that go beyond that. This is one of those things.
Right. The basketball game, UCF men's basketball, home Saturday night with a win. First opportunity we had to talk with fellow student athletes. And in this case, Aubrey Dawkins, he sat out all of last season recovering from injury. We know of Taco Fall's injuries and as well B.J. Taylor. These are guys that have experienced the road to recovery, and this is one of their brothers as well. And they spoke about Mackenzie and how their hearts went out to him. And you can just tell this whole family thing. We're not trying to overblow this. This is genuine emotion.
It's a big deal.
And so I had an opportunity to speak with them on Saturday night and get some of their reaction as well.
You guys have both battled injuries. What was it like for you guys to see Mackenzie Milton go down? What she did? What are your thoughts for her?
About that, I was going to mention that really broke my heart yesterday. Mackenzie,
the worst part of the game.
Great guy, awesome guy, man. I'm sending my prayers to him, and that really hit me when I saw that yesterday. I really send my prayers to him and his family.
Absolutely.
Wish him a speedy recovery. Just be strong. But that really broke my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't look at it. I heard about it, and I didn't even want to
The
reactions weren't good. Yes,
I didn't look at the actual video because I didn't want to do it, but I saw a picture.
Yeah.
That was good.
It's prayers for him, man. He's a hard-working kid, a good dude. He was always there for me when I was going through my injury. So I can't. Prayers, man. Hopefully, speedy recovery.
Great dude. Yeah. Great dude. It really broke my heart to see that happen to him. But
part of the game, man.
Sending out prayers to him, his family, wishing him a great recovery.
And how important is that emotional support that you get from family
and
friends
man.
to get through recovery?
All of it. It means everything to you because it's only something you can really understand once you go through it. You know what I'm saying? No matter what kind of injury it is, once you sit out and have the game taken away from you, especially when everything's looking up for you. You know what I'm saying? Team's doing great, season's going great. It's nothing but heartbreak. So people who care about you the most are the ones who are going to help you get through that because that's something that you can't really put into words at all.
So like everybody at Night Nation, you felt really bad for him. That's an extremely tough situation for somebody like that to happen to. He's been so great for UCF now the past 3 years. He's been starting quarterback, and he's done so much for university. And I feel bad for him and his family. But I heard his surgery went well, and I know he's gonna come back stronger than ever from this. I didn't go through anything as traumatic as what he went through yesterday with that kind of injury, but I got hurt last year and knew I was going to be out for a significant amount of time. And, I know he's a tough guy and I know he's going to stay positive. And, I'm just wishing him the best because, like you said, we are close. And, that's my closest friend on the football team, football aside. And we talk, three, 4 times a week. And I just, really felt bad for him. But he's a really good dude. And I know he's a really mentally tough guy. So I know he's going to come back from this stronger.
All right. Well, you can hear it in those guys' voices as well. BJ Taylor, we added there at the end. And
someone like BJ is friends with Mackenzie and can text and call him. But a lot of folks have asked us, what can they do to help out? And you've had conversations with UCF's sports information director as well as the family. And there's some different things there that you can weigh. And why don't you share those?
Well, yeah. I ask basically where people can send stuff, and I got kind of conflicting things, but I'll just say you can either send them to UCF Athletics or you can send them to Tampa General Hospital. But I think, from what I understand, they're looking to get Mackenzie out of there on Friday, hopefully, from what I understand. So you can send him either place, though.
Gotcha. And perhaps
and just a card or something. I wouldn't be sending flowers and stuff like that because those are probably not going to get to him in time and all that stuff for him to enjoy them. And I don't, so send a card or something if you want. But I think what you were going to talk about was...
Well, I think this groundswell of support is that folks wear flower leis or Hawaiian shirts to show support during Saturday's game.
And you just have to be there. Be there, not only to show support for Mackenzie this week, but to show support for the rest of his teammates that are trying to win a conference championship, because we've still got that. Football does not end because of a situation like this, fortunately or unfortunately.
That's true. So if you're looking to do something, that is also a way. And, some years back, I don't know, you weren't there for that, were you? When UCF played Boston College.
Yeah, I was there.
Remember? And there was a run on the red bandanas in honor of the Boston College.
Well, I know that there's a run on Lays right now because there's a bunch of people. I was watching the conversation on Twitter the other night about this place has them. Well, they just sold out. This place is sold out online.
Some of these places are like, what is going on? Why is there a run on these?
Yeah. So I know that there's going to be a lot of that out there. I personally, I think I may have said it on Post Game Live. I already ordered a Hawaiian shirt, a black and gold Hawaiian shirt.
How many clothes are you wearing on Saturday? Because you got your lucky shirt.
Oh, man. I'm going to have like 3 shirts on, I think, again. But whatever.
It's a 3:30 start. Weather
it
probably
is what it
nice.
is. Yeah, I may have to change shirts in the middle of the game.
You need the lucky
or
shirt,
something.
though.
No, I'm definitely wearing the lucky shirt.
Don't mess with that juju there.
Now, I think my number 10 white jersey which is my lucky. They have not lost since I've worn that shirt.
Got to wear that.
I'll wear that and then the Hawaiian shirt over the top of it.
Well, we're going to turn our attention to the war on I-4. UCF's beatdown of an overmatched herd of cattle From Oviedo to Oahu and everywhere in between, Knightline, your source for the best UCF conversation, continues in just a moment.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Postgame Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
All right, I think that we should actually talk about the game now because they're, we did win the game. 11-0 or whatever the hell it is. Is it 11-0? I can't remember because we've lost. We've not played games and all that stuff this year. So 11-0 for the second year in a row.
Unbelievable.
Undefeated again. What did we say? Remember, we said that I said one loss.
I said two.
I said one loss to Memphis.
Yeah. Memphis and Pittsburgh were my two.
And Memphis and Pittsburgh were your two. We were both wrong.
Yeah. How many of you were saying 11-0, folks?
Yeah,
come on, be honest.
Right.
Who amongst you were saying 11-0?
Another year. It's a huge, huge deal. And we won the War on I-4 rivalry 2 years in a row.
Keep the trophy.
Absolutely.
We had to bus it over so they could see it, and then we just bust it back.
Yeah. And I guess somebody planted that thing in the middle of the field, too.
Yeah, that could come back to...
I think that's great.
57,626 at the Buccaneers Stadium. Heavy presence of UCF fans.
Do you think that it was more UCF fans?
I'm going to say 50-50.
Really?
Well, and they flipped the script in terms of the stadium. I don't know if folks noticed that, but the television cameras, the way they had the sidelines, it was different. Their logo was facing the UCF side. On the home side for the Cows, that side was solidly their fans. On the UCF side, that was solidly UCF.
Well, that's
in
good,
the
then.
end zone. The Cows students who actually turned out for this game, so it does show that.
But they don't have that many, do they?
No, they have a lot of students. They don't have a lot of students coming to games typically, but they have a lot of students.
Oh.
And the band and all that. In the other end zone,
did they feed them like grass and grain and stuff? Because I've seen some of their girls.
Oh boy,
it's not good.
Oh my, that'll get us in trouble right there. And what Cow fans are leaving out is that the upper deck opened for this one on the one side, and that was a heavy UCF presence up there. So I'm gonna say 50-50.
Oh, good.
I'll tell you what they didn't win. They didn't win the game. 38-10 losers. They didn't win the rushing battle. UCF 58 carries, 391 yards. Our guy, Greg McCrae, 16 carries, 182 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Seems to me he's getting...
Our guy? That's my guy.
A collective R. A collective R.
That's my guy.
It seems to me he's getting better every week.
I've been pushing him hard on everybody to try to understand. Yeah, it's interesting that he ran for 16 carries for... now it's... Net 181 yards again.
Average 11.3.
Again.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And he did that in another game as well, those exact numbers. So, dude is a monster.
The touchdowns that he had in the second, third, and fourth quarters were his 6th, 7th, and 8th of the season. 5th straight with a score, and first multi-touchdown game of his career.
He got 3. So... that's awesome. I wonder where he is up to on his stats as far as rushing yards, because he was approaching like 700, 800, 900 yards, I think, and if with a bowl game and all that stuff, he could very well may make it to 1,000 yards. Honestly,
I had it, and then it blipped off my screen.
And he really came on at the end of the season. They did not use him like they have.
904.
Okay, so
11 games played, 99 attempts, 904 net 895.
Okay.
Net 895, averaging 9 yards a rush.
Okay, well, so with 2 games remaining, the American Championship and the bowl game, I will bet you that he gets 1,000 yards.
Oh, well, 90s. I'm not taking that bet. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 105 between
That's
two games.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. When was the last? I mean, I'll ask you that question.
Are you going to hit me with that now? Yeah, I'm not going to look that one up.
The last 100 or 1,000-yard rusher for UCF.
I'm sure you'll have that on Nightline Extra later in the week when you do the preview of Memphis.
Maybe. If you get me that information, I will have it. Yes, Trace.
You got a media guide right here. Let me look at the media guide while you play clips.
Okay, yeah. Let's hear from Josh Heupel, his opening comments after the game.
Really proud of our kids, the way they competed the entire night. I thought defensively just a suffocating performance by them, both in the run game and getting after the quarterback in the pass game as well. Tight coverage on the outside. Our coverage units were fantastic all night long, made them drive long fields. Proud of offensively finding a rhythm, getting some things going, create some big plays in the run game, and then enough in the pass game in the second half. Extremely proud of DJ, just the way he came in, poise he played with, took care of the football, missed a couple things, but then rebounded and found a way to make some plays as well. Just typical of who he is and the way he's practiced inside of our program really since the East Carolina game.
All right, Trace, you found some information for me on my query.
Yeah. This is 1,000-yard rushing season. So 10th is Alex Haynes at 1,038. That's within striking distance. Marquette Smith, 1,058. Latavius Murray, 1,106. Bryn Harvey, 1,109. Storm Johnson was the last with 1,000 plus, 1,139 in 2013. So
I forgot about Storm, I guess.
With 2 games to go, it seems like he has a chance to move
so
into the top 10.
It's been a couple of years, though, since we've had a 1,000-yard rusher, because we were running back by committee for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
We're still running back by committee, but just suddenly this guy appears that was a walk-on, and he's gunning for 1,000 yards.
Pretty good.
That's amazing.
And Memphis is going to have to figure out how to contain him.
Yeah, well,
and the entire core of running backs.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. This is what I was saying. I was John a little bit with the guy that with Isaac that will be our Memphis insider later on in the week.
By the way, he's on more than our, more than
most
Kyle
of our, because
4 games, and
4 games in like less
15
than
months.
15 months. So
we talked to him,
Yeah, so I was John with him, and I said, he was kind of like, well, what do we expect now? And I'm like, you're going to have to, we're going to lull you to sleep with our relentless rushing attack because we've got a number of running backs that can run. We're going to have to stop their running back, and they're going to have to stop ours, which we have depth. That's the cool thing about running backs and depth when you have depth like we have.
On the season, Adrian Killen second with 638 yards. Taj McGowan, 457. Taj with 7 touchdowns. Milton then at 388. Darryl Mack, 281. So, he can run.
And that's the other thing. You're going to have to worry about him up the middle because he's a big boy. Very big quarterback. So you'll have to worry about that up the middle as well. All right, let's hear what Josh Heupel had to say on the perfect season that we've all kind of not thought about as much as we probably should have because of all this McKenzie stuff.
Coach, your first year at UCF, your first year as a head coach, and you have a perfect regular season. Can you just your thoughts on that?
It's a team game. I told the players in there tonight was just really indicative of what we are made up of as individuals inside of our locker room and how that allows us to be the type of team that we are. We're resilient, we're mature, we continue to fight, and we do it the right way. We play for one another. It's a lot of fun. It's a privilege to come and coach these guys every day. The best part of my job, and there's a lot of great things at UCF, but the best part of my job is getting an opportunity to work with these young guys every day. I think they're mature. They continue to compete. They love one another. And, that culture, some of that existed while I was here. We're continuing to build on those things. And just really proud of who and what they are, but what they've done, since I've gotten here in December.
All righty. Well,
did you like the audio there in the tunnel?
Yeah, I know what that was.
Name that.
That was somebody
sound.
banging some cleats against the ground to clear the dirt out of the cleats.
Could be.
I guarantee that's what that was.
For a state-of-the-art NFL stadium, because they don't have an on-campus stadium, they just throw you in the hall.
Yeah.
You know, I've been there. I had an opportunity to work with my buddy who covers the Saints in New Orleans, and they do an exclusive one-on-one with Drew Brees, which is in that tunnel. But they have locker room access in the NFL. So as soon as they do their one-on-one with Brees and the locker room's open, they can go right to individual lockers and talk to players. So here we got half a dozen guys right there in the hall.
Well, I'm just glad that we have a chance to hear what they have to say. I mean, I'm glad that we have that access, and I appreciate UCF for giving us that access. So
you mentioned Daryl Mack. I found his page in the media guide.
Yeah,
What's his stats?
6'3", 230.
Big
He's
guy.
a big boy.
Yeah, big
and
guy.
I think he may be bigger than 230 personally, now, personally. But I like the guy. I saw a lot of high school tape on this guy, and he has got it. He's definitely got it. He's got an arm that is huge, very, very powerful arm. So I think it's just him getting his timing down with these guys, and I think he's going to be something really to have. I mean, a great quarterback to have. He just hasn't had a lot of time.
We have
everything.
so many
Thank
new
goodness.
We have so many new listeners, and thank you for listening, that probably weren't around when we talked to Daryl Mack way back when. You found that out of the archives today, huh?
Yeah, and we're going to play that later.
That's
So
good.
we'll have the interview that it was. I wrote it down right here, actually. Believe it or not.
What day?
Actually, it was January 5th, 2017 when we talked to him.
Almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
22 months ago.
Yeah. I think that was the actual date. That's the date that came up for me on that. So I think it was episode number 97.
Oh, my
94 or
goodness. Long
97. It
time ago.
seems like so long ago since this is, 172? Yeah. So you'll hear that later. Getting on with the clips here, let's hear what Josh Heupel had to say about Daryl Mack. DJ is what they call him.
I'm really proud of what he did tonight. I think that's indicative of really just the way he's been inside of our program, in particular since he was, had his opportunity against East Carolina. He's practiced with great purpose. He's been really decisive with the football, taking great care of the football in practice, and I thought he saw a lot of those things out there tonight. Did a good job in the run game as well. We'll be ready to go play. It's a team game, and everybody inside of that locker room is thinking about Mackenzie at this time. At the same time, we'll push forward and we'll be ready to go play next week.
All right. Well, they will be ready. I guarantee that. Next clip here, Josh Heupel talking about the defense.
They have rose to the occasion. They're playing great team defense. Everyone's playing assignment sound. It starts with our guys up front. They've penetrated, played on the other side of the line of scrimmage. In the run game, they've created pressure on the quarterback, made it tough on him, and then we've played tight coverage on the back end as well. We have tackled really well the last couple of weeks. It's been a big key as well.
And then our next Josh Heupel clip, talking about McCray.
Continues to play and execute and do the little things at such a high level. He's had huge ball games and created big running lanes. Guys up front are doing a great job. Guys on the perimeter, wide receivers as well, tight ends. But he's doing a great job of pressing the line of scrimmage, understands what we're trying to accomplish, and helps deliver those guys to the block.
All right, somebody also asked Josh Heupel about the fan support. This is cool.
Passion that resides for UCF football is really unique, in my opinion. How young this program is and how passionate our fan base is, the way it's going to continue to grow with the size of our school. It's just an exciting time for me to be in the midst of what I consider the most unique football program in college football. Just a really exciting opportunity.
By the way, we're however many minutes into the show. UCF now 7th in the AP poll, moved up 1. Knights jumped 2 spots to 7th in the coaches poll. May bode well for the CFP.
Lots of things happened this week in college football that made that whole thing, us rise a little bit farther than maybe we expected. We'll have to see what happens on Tuesday night for that, but I think we're going to be up there at least even with 7, I would think.
Josh Heupel, one of 18 semifinalists for the George Munger Coach of the Year award. Now, they haven't really narrowed it down to much if there are 18 people left.
Yeah.
But when you consider the shoes that he stepped into, the expectations, the 2017 season, and facing the adversity that they have throughout the season.
And then our offensive line coach as well is up for...
Glenn Ellerby, one of 15 semifinals for the Broyles Award for Assistant Coach of the Year.
Awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. All right, one more clip from Josh Heupel here on Memphis.
These two programs have played a lot of football against each other in the last 2 years, so I have great respect for their coaching staff. They play really hard on both sides of the football. Obviously, offensively, you got a unique weapon in their running back. We have to corral him, and but we're going to enjoy this one tonight. It's a big game for our program, state rivalry game, trophy game. We're going to enjoy this one, and then we'll push forward tomorrow.
All right. Well, he did remind everybody that there was a football game, and that they needed to enjoy that one a little bit. Got some clips real quick. We'll get them over quick because I know we're way into this show doing clips already. Let's hear what Daryl Mack had to say. Daryl Mack he's a quiet guy. He doesn't talk real loud, so I had to pump these clips up quite a bit, so they're real noisy.
It may also be based on where I was standing.
You were pretty close to him.
It was hard to get in.
Yeah, you were pretty close to him, but here's what he had to say on his time playing the other night.
Just staying ready like I always do. Just having the team on my back, going out there and playing for him, playing for the rest of the school, playing for our city.
I like what he said there. Playing for our team, playing for the rest of the school, and playing for our city. I thought that was cool.
Orlando's hometown team.
Well, Tampa's hometown team, too, I think. I saw a logo that was our logo, that the Orlando's hometown team, Tampa's hometown team. One more here from Daryl Mack, and this is basically what the rest of his team said to him when he came in and had to carry on the team.
The whole team just trying to let me know that they got me. I already knew that though, so it was really just going out there, making plays where it needed to be made. That's what I hope I did and got the victory.
All right, two more clips here. Let's hear what Greg McCrae had to say about Daryl Mack, because Daryl Mack is now the quarterback for UCF.
DJ did a great job coming in. Things like that unfortunately happen, but he came in, stepped up, played a pivotal role in this game, and it really helped us pull out this win.
All right, and one more from Greg McCrae on his game.
Great job by the O-line. They picked up a lot of blocks. The holes are there, made great adjustments on the fly, blitzes and things like that. They just provided really big holes for me to run through, and I just took it.
All right, that's it for the clips. A wonderful game, though. They really came together and did it, and I'm glad that they won that game. Unfortunately, it was just so overshadowed by everything that it was hard to enjoy it.
That's true. Have you watched it back?
Not yet.
Yeah, I watched it back. By the way, Richie Grant, there's going to be a whole lot of oh-by-the-ways that go along with this game. Richie Grant, team-leading 5th interception of the season. He had come into the game ranked 11th in the nation in interceptions. Not sure how it all sorted out after all of the weekend games. Knights have forced at least one turnover in all 11 games this season, and the last 30 games, a streak that leads the nation.
Really? Wow.
How about that?
Okay.
And then the Cows scored a touchdown in the third quarter, the period the Knights defense has had the most success in. They'd shut out their opponents 6 times. Opponents are averaging 2.7 points per game in the third quarter, a little less than a field goal.
Oh. Well, it was nice of the Cows to keep it to number 10 for McKenzie, by the way.
Interesting.
They're 10 points. No, it's not what happened. But anyway.
Matthew Wright, field goal, 54th of his career, new UCF record for career field goals, and he connected on all 5 of his extra points, 142 consecutive.
He missed a field goal, though, too, right, in this game? Didn't he miss one? Or was that last game?
That was last game.
Well, they all kind of mixed together at a certain point. Oh, it happens. It happens.
So you're out of clips now?
I'm out of clips, yeah.
But
thank goodness, because it's 50 minutes, basically. We're into it.
Before we get to Kyle Israel and we get his reaction and we deep dive into the game, we talk about the Memphis game. Again, we'll have more on Knightline Extra that drops later in the week. You pulled out of the archives first interview with Daryl Mack from way back when.
Yeah, here it is.
Daryl Mack Jr. is stopping by Knightline to talk about the recruiting process. Daryl, thanks so much for joining us on Knightline.
Thank you guys for having me.
You're from Virginia, and you are a dual-threat quarterback rated on Rivals as a 3-star, 6'3", 215 pounds from Norfolk, Virginia. You've got offers from a lot of people. You've got offers from Power 5 schools. You've got offers from pretty much every American team. Why UCF?
Just being around the coaches, being around campus, taking my visit there, just seeing the homie vibe of the school and see what Coach Frost did for the program this past year. Just led me to my decision because I really want to be a part of something special, something great.
Awesome. Well, I think that you're going to be coming in the fall, but I think that you still, with the play last year of a freshman quarterback, Mackenzie Milton, there could be a chance, obviously, to really compete in the fall and maybe have a chance.
Definitely. I plan on going down there, showing my talents, and just competing with Mackenzie or in any other quarterbacks that come in. Just take my shot,
For UCF fans who haven't seen your tape, talk about your style of play. What can fans expect from you when they see you on the field?
Just a dual-threat guy that can choose either to sit back and pick defenses apart, or if something's not there, extend the play and get whatever I can get to help my team win.
What coach is recruiting you for UCF?
I talk a lot with Coach Verduzco. Coach Eric Shenander is the recruiting coordinator of our area. And I talk a lot with Coach Frost, too.
Did you know anything about UCF before recruiting was underway?
Definitely, because, like guys like Blake Bortles and Brandon Marshall, just watching those guys thrive in the NFL really kind of led me to do some, like background, stuff like that, some research, and found UCF, and ever since then I've been watching them since.
And I talked to you about this before we went on our interview, before we started recording, but you are 100% with the Knights, correct?
100%, yes, sir.
All right. Well, that's important because, and I don't. When I talk to you, I didn't really tell you this, but I don't really normally do this very often. I don't really talk to guys until they sign, just because, you guys are young guys. You're still high school guys, and a lot of things can happen between now and then. But I felt like with you that it seemed like you were really, really high on the Knights, and really 100%. I can hear that you guys are watching the football game in the background.
Yes, sir. They're going crazy. I try to get out of the other room, but they're crazy.
That's all good.
Tell us more about what it's like to be recruited. As Andrew started off the interview listing all of the different schools that appreciate what you've been able to do as a high school quarterback. What is that process like? You're getting messages from them. You're hearing from them. It's got to be flattering for your skills and your accomplishments.
Definitely. I think the biggest thing that's on me is just a chance to get a free education from someone. School is being able to hear from them, especially doing what I love, playing football. It really just some days I kind of sit back and just look like there's a lot of schools, a lot of good schools that people would dream and kill for to get into, and they're coming to me with sometimes great news, sometimes greater news about they're going to their school and attending their school and playing a sport that I love. So it's just a blessing that I'm able even to be looked at for the opportunity.
Tell us more about those conversations with UCF coaches in terms of how they're selling you on the offense. What is it you're hearing about the offense that just excites you, knowing your style of play?
Well, me and Coach Verduzco really talk a lot. So just the fast-paced offense that they run, basically it's kind of the same system I'm coming from and at my high school now. So just being able to kind of get used to it, kind of being already in it, it definitely sold me a lot. Just being able to show both of my talents with my feet and my arms, just a blessing.
How did your senior season turn out there in Virginia, in Norfolk?
Good. Well, I got like the 757 Player of the Year, first team all conference, I guess. I finished with, I want to say, 2,500 yards passing, and 1,500 yards rushing with a total of like 55 touchdowns, I think it was.
Yeah,
but who's counting?
Those are impressive numbers.
Kind of lose count.
Those are impressive numbers for a quarterback to throw for that many and to run for over 1,000 yards. That's impressive. What kind of competition were you playing against? Is it the highest level, the biggest schools, or?
So it's like the biggest schools in the areas. We played 3 games against defending state champions from the past year. So competition was very high. Yes, sir.
A lot of guys going to play in college, obviously.
Definitely.
Okay, so you played yesterday in the blue-gray game in Jacksonville. How did that turn out?
Sir. Just being around some NFL veterans and some other college commits there really just opened my eyes and showed me even more that I could play with some of the best. Just being around those guys, having fun, like any other normal team, and just being able to play the sport I love with the best. It was really a good experience.
How was your performance in the game?
I think I did pretty well. I don't remember my stats for real, but I think I did pretty well. Got some good reviews from the coaches.
Was Blake Bortles around at all?
No, sir. I wish.
Yeah, he goes out of state, I know, to train.
I'm taking a look at the weather.com right now, and it's showing 40 degrees in Norfolk. What do you think of the Florida winter so far?
Oh, man. If I could have this weather all the time, I would. Just coming from Virginia weather is crazy. Like one day it'll snow, the next day it'll be like 70 degrees.
So your family's looking forward to making that trek down to Central Florida to catch you playing at UCF?
Yes, sir, definitely. Well, my parents, we've lived in Florida previously when I was younger, so they're coming back down here with me. My mom always told me that she was going wherever I was going, so I think they'll end up in Orlando, but they're always down to travel.
So your parents are going to move with you?
Yes, sir. My parents are from up the street in Pensacola, Florida, so either they'll move around there or move closer to me.
So it's not just your commitment, your family's making a commitment to this as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they want to be, back in Florida, and this is a perfect opportunity for them too. So
definitely,
very cool. All right, I have these questions written down, and we really haven't used any of them. So
he's a good interview. Have you decided on a major at this point? What is it you're interested in studying at UCF?
Yes, sir. I look to major in sociology.
Oh, that's an interesting one. All right.
Definitely.
So what would your teammates say about you?
Just a pretty funny guy that anybody can approach, very approachable, a hard worker, and a great leader, down to earth. He really come to me for anything you need. Like a fun guy to be around, definitely.
So this is the show that the UCF Night Nation listens to find out about recruiting and everything that goes on in UCF sports. What would you say to them if you could talk to them directly?
If I could talk to those guys directly, I would just tell them be ready, and hopefully I can bring our school some big things. They're always going to get my best and do whatever I can to make UCF Nation better.
All right, that sounds good. Well, we're looking forward to National Signing Day and seeing your name on there, of course. And we're looking forward to the fall when you get here, and we're looking forward to you playing for the Knights for 4 years, hopefully. So, how can fans follow you on social media?
My Twitter is DJ Mactastic. Is MacTastic1. That's pretty much the only social media I have. So.
All right, that's cool. All right, well, Daryl, thank you very, very much for talking to us. I hope that the rest of your high school career goes well, and looking forward to seeing you here in the fall.
Definitely. No problem. Go Knights.
I like that. From the Wayback Machine. That wasn't too long ago, but he's the man of the moment now.
It seems like it was a long time ago.
We should do more of that, where we pull from the archives now that we've got a lot of archives.
Yeah, after the football season, we could probably do that.
Gotcha. I failed to mention, by the way, some bowl projections, updated bowl projections. CBS Sports, Florida, UCF in the Fiesta. Sports Illustrated, UCF, Washington State in the Fiesta. SB Nation has the Gators, Knights in the Peach, and 2 ESPN people have UCF and the Gators in the Peach. I think the likelihood of the Peach is increased with Florida in there, because I don't think they'd want a repeat of UCF, but UCF, Florida does make sense. If they
I think we could still beat Florida. I do.
Yeah. We got to win Saturday.
Yeah.
Got to go 1-0.
We could probably still beat Washington State. You know that Washington State quarterback was an ECU quarterback at one time.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. And we destroyed him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody again for calling and listening to Knightline Postgame Live following Friday's game. Andrew, did you know there are 296,237 UCF alums? Next, we're talking with one of them. The best coverage of UCF football continues when Knightline talks with former quarterback Kyle Israel. He joins us to discuss KZ and the Knights' win over the Cows. Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
Welcome to Inside the Huddle with former UCF quarterback Kyle Israel, brought to you by the Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous. Waterford Lakes, 855 North Althea Trail, Orlando.
For Knight Nation, it's a Black Friday no one will ever forget, a date in Knight history that shall live in infamy. Let's talk about it with former UCF quarterback Kyle Israel, who is inside the huddle and on the Knightline hotline. Let's get right to it, Kyle. That's a tough moment to watch when KZ goes down.
It's undoubtedly the most difficult moment in a UCF football game that I've ever seen, been a part of. It was just, in that moment, it was almost pure shock for about 30 seconds. And then understanding based on what I saw that it was, obviously very serious. But it's truly, my heart goes out to Mackenzie and his family as a competitor, for him to have been on the, almost 2-year run, 2-season run that he was on in leading this football team. And to be at the level that he was performing at, to have it ripped away at a moment's notice, over the weekend, it made me emotional a few times, just thinking of the moments that he's going to have over the next months to come. Because I did break my tibia, nothing in the realm of what he went through, but I did break it and had a rod put in my leg after my freshman year. And you're just in a dark place for a period of time, just trying to figure out what the future holds. And so my heart truly goes out to Mackenzie in that regard, because from a competitive perspective, I just can't imagine what that feels like. But he's a strong kid. We've seen that. And so he'll be better for it someday. But it was a tragic moment on Friday.
Oh, boy. Yeah, things like this are difficult to talk about. I have had many moments over the last few days, even cutting clips to get ready for this show to play the clips of the other guys talking about him and stuff have been difficult. It's incredibly a difficult injury to go through for him, but, like you said, he's strong, he's young. If anybody can get through this, I think that he can. I guess, where is your mindset? You talked a little bit about it. Where is your mindset at that point? What are you thinking? How do you get back from something like that's a devastating injury like that?
I think the great thing for Mackenzie, number one, is he has an incredible support system. Obviously, his mother being here in Orlando with him will certainly make that journey much easier. I remember vividly the moments in time living in a dorm, being basically immobile and not sure how to get to the bathroom or how to take a shower, and relying on roommates and crutching across campus. Those aren't the days that Mackenzie will experience, because he has such an incredible support system. So I'm so thankful for that. But essentially, you at that point, you're taking it one day at a time. When you're incapacitated, as many people know, and you can't walk, you got to keep yourself mentally sharp. And so, for him, there's a big game on Saturday that I know that he wants his football team to win. and there's not going to be a bigger cheerleader for this team than Mackenzie. And so, that's a great thing for him to be able to focus on, and then you just got to get better, and you got to take it one day at a time. So, his support system is what's going to make it, a little bit easier of a recovery process, and that's a process that is just very, very difficult. And nobody knows the true 100% reality of where the knee is at this point in time, but honestly, it doesn't really matter right now because it's going to be a long recovery regardless, and so we'll all be there to support him as much as we can.
Absolutely. And we do have a game coming up. We have a championship game coming up, and that is going to be a very interesting situation with Daryl Mack playing quarterback now. It's his team. He has to do it. We have to be behind him as fans. What are the biggest things that he has to do to get this to win this American championship?
Well, number one, it sounds cliche, but he's got to stay within himself. I think it was a great opportunity for him to get that full game on the road against East Carolina earlier in the season. We would have never known how much that game would have come into play now. But that's great for his confidence. He almost plays a full game against a rival in South Florida. And really what he has to do, he's got to stay away from turnovers. Memphis is a team that likes to create opportunities defensively. He can't turn the football over. He's just got to play within the offense. And one thing that Mackenzie always said, I think, all good quarterbacks try to do this is get the ball to your playmakers. And he'll get a full week of practice with the ones. He just had a full game with them essentially. And at the same time, it's going to be great because he'll be at home. He's not going to be on the road. There's some comfort level with that. And, I think that this team has enough strong components on it, both defensively and senior leadership-wise. That's the great thing about what nobody's asking Daryl Mack to do, which is, try to be the all-encompassing leader of the football team. You go out there and lead the offense. You focus on leading the offense, and that's the luxury that you have as a redshirt freshman with a team of strong seniors and a team that's on a run like this. So I'm confident in his abilities. He's not Mackenzie Milton, so let's not expect that. It's not going to be we're not going to see the same things. He doesn't move and release the football like Mackenzie, but that's okay because we can run the football and be selective. So I'm comfortable. I think that it's great to have two games, but Memphis is a good football team, and he's going to have to play a great game, but he's not going to have to be the guy that wins it for us. We have a very strong overall football team right now.
In post-game interviews, all of the players naturally very emotional in their hearts and their prayers and their thoughts with Mackenzie, but incredibly composed that they knew that they had to flip that switch and stick with a game plan. Talk about how difficult that is for a collective, that whole team, to go from such a gut-wrenching moment to dominating their rival on the road in a big game.
It's extremely difficult, and especially in that horrific style of moment, the way that it just halted that game and everything seemed to stop. And then to be able to, I think the leader and the competitor that Mackenzie is breathes within this team. I think those guys knew that Mackenzie wouldn't want anything less than everything that they had. And that can sound so cliche, and sometimes I kind of wince at somebody saying something like that, but you really feel like that is something you can taste and see and feel with this team, and it's not easy to do. And I give so much credit to those guys, those seniors, the coaching staff for getting everybody refocused and refocused enough to go out and dominate the rest of the football game, not just squeak by, but dominate a football game. And that is great trace for building incredible momentum going into a conference championship game, without the guy that's responsible for a majority of the touchdowns over the last two seasons.
For several weeks post-game, Mackenzie in particular, others as well, have said just how challenging it is to win game after game and how they really do stick to that 1-0 every week mantra. I can't think of a more difficult thing than to have won this. And again, in dominating fashion, the running game excelled, and the defense has shown that it has really come to play these last couple of weeks in particular.
Well, UCF fans, for better or for worse, over the years have, had moments where we've just sort of accepted adversity and accepted that we were in a certain position and, that we were going through a certain thing. And it's just kind of like, all right, let's move beyond it. But, this football team wasn't willing to accept defeat because of an injury. And getting up week in and week out, being the team that everybody wants to beat, you really have to find small little minute advantages week in and week out that you can create. And a lot of that is mental edge. And this team, really, really talks about the 1-0 every week. And I don't see how you win 23 games in a row, this 22, 23 games in a row without doing that, Trace. I really don't. You have to find ways to focus on the small moments and playing in the moment because you just get overwhelmed with everything else. And I think, situations and weeks like College Game Day and the primetime spots that we've been on, things still seem big to us and to our fan base. Moments still seem and feel big. But the more that I'm on the sideline and the more that I'm around that football team during the games, I'm not sure that those moments ever feel or seem too big for this football team anymore, including what we experienced on Friday. And that's a credit to so many people. You can't really pull anybody out. It's a collective. And it's more than just players and coaches, but everybody that's part of that program right now inside that building.
Talk about how Daryl Mack did during the game this week. It was a difficult situation for him.
No doubt. I can't imagine coming in that situation, because it's not like Mackenzie's getting pulled, and you're coming in the game. You're coming in to fill somebody's shoes that is not coming back, and that all that pressure is truly on you now. So, I anticipated a bit of a shaky start. He missed some open guys, but I think he showed great composure, great poise. He's not over the top in regards to being animated, but he's animated and vocal, and you can see those things in him, and so I like that from him. I think that he'll get more comfortable in the pocket. He kind of has more of a robotic motion in the pocket when, kind of moving receiver to receiver. But that's, a way to train guys' eyes is with their feet. And he's not going to be as fluid as Mackenzie in the pocket, but, he missed Trey Nixon on a deep throw. I love the fact that he took the shot and then he came back and hit Judge Snelson, obviously on another deep throw. So we know he's got the ability to hit the deep ball. That's not a question. And that's something that you want in this offense, to be able to stretch the defense. And he was able to effectively run the run-pass option and the zone read. And he's obviously a guy that's going to be able to make plays with his feet, 51 yards rushing on Friday, 9 3/4. And we've seen that he has the ability to make big runs versus ECU. So time will tell with Daryl. I feel very comfortable with him in this football game. But I thought that he came in and did absolutely everything he needed to. He kept everybody composed. He managed the game well. He got plays in from the sideline. He executed them well. And he had some of the ups and downs that you would expect a redshirt freshman to have in that environment. But he's 2 games better for it going into a conference championship game. He'll have a home crowd behind him. And he's got a ton of athletes around him that are going to make plays. And that's why I'm confident in that he'll be able to move us towards a victory.
Yeah, I guess that's the biggest thing that all of us have to remember. It's not just about one guy. It's not over just because our starting quarterback is injured and gone for the rest of the season. It's not that. And we know that Daryl Mack can do what he needs to do in this offense. We've seen him throw. We haven't seen him throw a lot, but we saw him complete a couple good downfield passes in this last game. So I have faith that Coach Heupel and the rest of the staff will make a game plan that he can execute for sure.
There's no doubt about that. If you get into a situation in a game where you got to start outscoring somebody, then you got to do what you got to do, right? You spread the ball out and let's go. We haven't been behind in too many games. We don't know what it's like for us to play behind, but very often. But at the same time, we have a defense that is playing very good right now. They're arguably playing their best football. And this is the time that we need our defense to be playing the best that they can play. You also got to remember, Memphis isn't great at stopping the run. And right now, we have such an advantage in the running game. Greg McCray, we could talk about him for another 20 minutes if you want to. But he's obviously just added so much to our backfield. So it's a good matchup for us to have. If McKenzie's going to be out, Memphis is a team that is not stout against the run, and that's in our favor.
Let's talk about Coach Josh Heupel, 11-0, perfect record in his first season, and you contrast that to Scott Frost, 6-7, coming off a winless season. So really, he could do no wrong in that year. But Heupel comes in with unbelievable expectations on the part of Knight Nation, coming off an undefeated season, the win in the Peach Bowl, the national championship. And he was able to assemble a coaching staff, modify what he wanted to do in his game plan with the talent that he had around him, and really worked with McKenzie and others to develop a game plan and a system that would work for everybody. And now this week, he's got the biggest challenge of his young coaching career to figure out how to put it all together and beat Memphis, who you're seeing for the fourth time in less than a year and a half. That's going to give you yet another swing, their best shot. Let's talk about Coach Heupel and the job he's done.
Well, you just described a lot of the incredible things and the scenarios that we've experienced as a program, and certainly that Coach Heupel has experienced in just a short period of time. It's absolutely, in my opinion, remarkable what he's been able to do to keep this. There's things that go on inside of that facility with this football team that the general public, never knows and never sees, never hears about. And their day-to-day nuances that everybody experiences, in their jobs. And for him to have managed that side of this program so well, or delegate that side of this program so well, to assimilate essentially with this team in such a short period of time. And obviously there's talent on this football team. So great managers, great coaches understand how to make the talent perform at its highest level based on things that you design them to do. And so, he's found ways to run his offense and sprinkle in things that we did in the past and even new things. I don't know that Danny White could have made a better hire. I don't know that we could have asked for a better coach. He's just so steady, so easy, and he's learning how to be a head coach. He's coached 11 games as a head coach. He hasn't lost yet, which is remarkable in itself. But he is still very, very young when it comes to being a head coach and inexperienced. And that makes this transition even more remarkable. We didn't get a coach that had 15 years under his belt that took over Coach Frost's team and was able to figure out a way for them to win. We took on a guy coaching his first ever team as a head coach, and he's gone undefeated. He's faced adversity with McKenzie missing a game on the road, and obviously East Carolina wasn't great this year, but that's never an easy decision to make. He managed that well. He's managed McKenzie's, injuries throughout the season very well. And he's managed a team that has a ton of athletes, and he's figured out a way to keep this team moving in the right direction and seemingly everybody on board. So it is absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't be prouder about who our head coach is. And, I'm interested to see, for me, how can he use this momentum on the recruiting trail, and how does our class end up? I'll be interested to start evaluating that a bit after we get past this championship game.
All right, this one is kind of a question and a reflection a little bit. The question is this: do you think Josh Heupel, if you had a vote for Coach of the Year, would he be your vote? Yeah, he would be. I'm trying to think of just anybody else across the country. Yeah, but just because of what you just described. Coming in and
I don't see how he's not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then you do that at a program, and now this program has had 2 back-to-back undefeated regular seasons. It's just phenomenal. That seems to be buried kind of brushed under the rug over the weekend when you're obviously, as it should have been with Mackenzie.
Yeah.
But when you start to kind of move on into some different conversations, you go, gosh, man, it's absolutely incredible that we've gone undefeated 2 regular seasons in a row. As a matter of fact, it's unimaginable only a short time ago.
Yeah, and that was what I was going to get to next.
Yeah.
Because of everything that's happened to Mackenzie and, like, just the emotions that all that has brought, it's been kind of, to me especially, it seems like we forgot about that we were undefeated for 2 years in a row. And that's an incredible feat. That does not happen very often. The pinnacle teams are the ones that do that. And that's where we're at this point, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't even want to hear the argument of Power 5, Group of 5, undefeated.
Absolutely not.
If anybody if everybody could go undefeated in the Group of 5, there'd be people going undefeated every year. I mean, it is just remarkable on any level of college football, any level of football, period. When a team goes back-to-back undefeated seasons, it's hard to beat. It's just phenomenal.
The quarterback situation aside, going into Saturday's rematch with Memphis again, the 4th time in less than a year and a half, and some wild games of late, the challenge for Memphis is not to drool and salivate over the prospect of facing Daryl Mack, isn't it? They can get a little ahead of themselves in what they think coming into Orlando. What do you think their game plan will be to contain what is still a very talented offense?
Well, it'll be interesting. I think that they're going to try to put a lot of guys in the box and do what I think Cincinnati wanted to do against us, which was play man-to-man coverage and force us to make big plays on the outside. And obviously McKenzie and Trey Nixon and those guys were able to do that. I think you'll see some of the same from Memphis. They want safety support in the run game. They want to bring pressure, put Daryl under pressure, and force him to make decisions from the pocket before he can escape. I mean, I'd be putting a lot of pressure on this football team. But, the scary thing about that is if he can sit in the pocket and deliver and win some one-on-one matchups, so we can destroy Memphis. We weren't able to do that in inclement weather in the first game. To be honest with you, I think Memphis' best chance of beating us was when they were up 17 points in a horrible weather situation at home. Even with McKenzie not in this football game, I'm not sure they have enough firepower at this point in the season with the way that our defense is playing, and I'm not sure they have enough gas in the tanks to stop our running game. And honestly, I don't know that we'll ever see a team play as hard as this team will play on Saturday. So again, if you're Memphis, you got to put pressure on Mack. And yeah, you're salivating a little bit because now you've gone through Houston without Derek King, and you're going to play UCF without a Mackenzie Millen. I mean, Memphis is lucky, in my opinion, to be here, and I hope we beat the crap out of them on Saturday.
Absolutely.
And it is hard to beat a team. And you said it, Trace. The idea of beating a team 4 times in a row in that time frame is seemingly nearly impossible.
And I don't think that they've ever beaten us.
One time.
Way back
in
in the 90s. Yeah, that's right. One time.
A different era.
One time.
I want to talk about the crowd and how important it is that they be there to support not only Mackenzie and this team, a talented group of seniors, another opportunity to thank the seniors in person, but the crowd really has to bring it. They were a disruptive force for Cincinnati. Daryl Mack is going to need them as a 12th man on the defensive side.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, I'm really excited that this game's at 3:30. I don't remember what time it was last year, maybe noon. And our conference championships that we've hosted at home in the past, I believe have been noon games. So the 3:30 start times allows everybody to have a little bit more fun at the tailgate before the game, and you hope that creates an environment going into the evening where we have a huge huge student turnout. I believe that we will. And, the fans, without a doubt, as I said last week, I was on the sideline the first play of Cincinnati, and it made a difference. And I've been in a lot of stadiums when fans are loud. And we can create that big time atmosphere, and I hope that we do on Saturday. Because yes, we need everything, every advantage that we can. Because again, we can talk and we can be confident in this team and in Mac and moving forward. But the reality of the situation is that we're not going to have our leader. We're not going to have a guy that is responsible for so much for this team and has been responsible for so much for this team. There's no way to kind of hide that. And every advantage that we can have, we should have. And part of that is support from our fan base. And I'm confident that we'll turn out. I truly am. It's going to be a beautiful Saturday in Orlando. And East Orlando has been fortunate now since 2007 to host a number of conference championships. And conference championship Saturdays are what it's all about at the level that we are right now.
It was just a week ago we were talking about Mackenzie's mechanics and how he seems to get a little excited in a big game. I want to go back to Daryl Mack for a second. 5 yards away from him, he zings a fastball in there. Is that being hyped up, or how do you work with him on that touch, that finesse that's needed in those short yardage pass situations?
Some of it is just letting the game slow down a little bit. You feel like you're thinking about your read. You come up to the line of scrimmage. Here's what I'm reading. All right, you get the ball on the snap, and then it unfolds, and you're saying, "Oh my gosh, okay, it's open," and you're trying to fire it in there. You're excited. I think that some of that is, I'm not sure you can do a lot to teach that, Trace. I think that's hard. But I think when you look at some of the screenplays, the play action screenplays, he had the right touch on that twice in the football game for South Florida. It's going to take some time to settle down. Listen, when you're young like he is, and for anybody, when you have a strong arm, that's what kind of separates you sometimes, and you want to use it. But I'm confident that throughout the course of a week and work with the ones, that he'll be just fine. But that's a little bit of nerves, without a doubt.
All right, Kyle. I know it's coming up on the busy time. I know you're getting ready to open a store. What's been going on at the Little Greek?
Yep, we are about to open December 10th, our Lee Vista location. So right now, just getting through the holidays and just gearing up for that. And hopefully I can use this week to emotionally recover a little bit more. But, right now, for Little Greek, it's about to be a busy time. So I'd love nothing else than to win a conference championship going into that.
All righty, man. Well, we will talk to you next week. It's going to be a big week. It's the conference championship. A lot of questions, but I think they'll get it done. So thank you very much, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
Good to talk it out with Kyle.
Absolutely.
This is, we said, it's a conversation.
And I'll be doing it again with Nick on Thursday.
Yeah, so it's we hope you enjoy listening and getting this out of your system as well. It's difficult, but, UCF Sports, it keeps going on. Big news on the NCAA tournament for volleyball, UCF hosting. Men's basketball tunes up before, guess who? Alabama comes to town. Ahead, our insider Ben Stout has the deep dive. Knightline, check out KnightlineSports.com. Do it right now.
You've heard us talk about the great food at our good friend Kyle Israel's restaurant, the Little Greek Fresh Grill. The Little Greek now has franchises available. Please call 407-697-2272. That's 407-697-2272 to see what the Little Greek can do for you. Also, check out the Little Greek's newest location at 6536 Old Brick Road in Windermere, Florida. The Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous. This segment is brought to you by Scouted, the app where athletes of all ages get exposed, discovered, and recruited. Download for free on the Apple Store or Google Play and get discovered today.
Fresh off winning the Myrtle Beach Invitational, the UCF men's basketball team returned home Saturday night, ran its winning streak to 4 games, beating Northern Kentucky 66-53. Knights now 5-1. they gave up a couple of threes, quite a few threes, too many threes in the first half. And Knights head coach Johnny Dawkins talks about the second half adjustments the Knights had to make, leading just 34-32 at the break.
Well, that's what we emphasized at halftime. That was our emphasis going into the game. Didn't work out too well for us in the first half. But the second half, our guys really did key in on their shooters. We got locked in, and I think that was a big difference in the ballgame.
All right, our insider, former UCF men's basketball player Ben Stout, has more Inside the Paint.
Hey, Andrew and Trace, this is Ben Stout. I hope you're doing well and had a great Thanksgiving holiday with your families. Before I get started talking hoops for this week, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the pain that all of Knight Nation is feeling after the horrible injury that happened to Mackenzie Milton in Friday night's game. To KZ, we're all behind you. We're keeping you in our thoughts and prayers, and we're behind you as you embark on the recovery journey ahead. Well wishes to you and your family for a good recovery. So, all right, getting into some basketball thoughts for this week. Our guys only had one game this week because of the Thanksgiving holiday, and it was against the North of Northern Kentucky. Northern Kentucky came into this game undefeated, and I believe that they were undefeated for two reasons. They were shooting the ball well from three in most of their games, and they were forcing turnovers by using their full court press, where they get a lot of trapping opportunities and force a lot of turnovers. So it was a tough test this week, and we were luckily up to the task. We went back and forth with them in the first half. But right away in the second half, our defense started locking them up, especially from the perimeter, forcing them into bad shots and not allowing them to set up that full court press that was so successful for them. We went on a 25-8 run starting in the second half, and we really never looked back. We also crushed them on the glass as well, out-rebounding them by 16 rebounds. With everyone getting involved and crashing the boards and not allowing any of those second chance points for them. As far as those individual performances go, it was good to see Taco get a 20 spot on the night. Our guards were getting him the ball early and often in good position, and he was making things happen in the post for us with that inside-out game that we're going to continue to need from him this season. Chad Brown did an awesome job of backing him up, as he does all year. He provides such a huge spark off the bench. He not only played some great defense with 3 huge blocks on the game, but he had a couple of exciting dunks as well. And, Chad is a great leader on their team, and he is, I think he should be considered for 6th man of the year, and I hope he will continue his great play this year. Speaking of great play, I'm really proud of the way Terrell Allen kind of continues his great season as our main ball handler in this offense. He didn't fill up the stat sheet by any means this game. He only had 5 points and 5 assists, but he had no turnovers on the game, which is huge. He's running the offense really efficiently from the point guard spot and taking care of the basketball extremely well, which is great to see. I think everyone needs to keep in mind that him and BJ are still getting used to playing in the same backcourt together. So there's going to be some awesome potential there when they start clicking and finding their place together in the starting lineup. So I'm excited to see that. Overall, I think it was a solid team win against a good team, and I'm happy with the game plan that they had against them. The Northern Kentucky team has a good chance of competing for another Horizon League title this year, so they might not be the big name brand win, but they're going to be a good team, and I think they're going to make this kind of dominating win, especially in the second half. I think they're going to make that look good as they go out throughout their season. So looking ahead, I'm excited in the next matchup that we have coming up with getting Alabama at home on Thursday. I hope a lot of the fans will show up for that game and cheer on our team because they deserve your support. This is going to be yet another tough early season test for us as they're going to come into our house trying to avenge the loss that we gave them on their home court last year. They're a very well-coached team under Avery Johnson and have a really solid backcourt in John Petty and Kyra Lewis Jr. These guys might be young as freshmen and sophomore, but they're long and they're athletic, so they will certainly challenge Terrell and DJ on both ends of the floor. The matchup to watch out for, I think, will probably be Aubrey Dawkins going up against their sophomore slasher Herbert Jones. at the 3 spot there. Jones is a pretty similar player to Aubrey, as they're both athletic and they can both shoot the 3, so it'll be fun to see those two go at it. I do like our chances, though, against this team. If we simply play nice basketball, we play tenacious defense, we take care of the ball on offense, I think we can take home another win against a good SEC opponent, and I'm excited to see what we can do against them. That's all I have for now, guys. I hope you have a great show and a great week, and go Knights and charge on.
All right, a big one this week. The Knights host Alabama Thursday night at 7 and need another big performance from the Americans Player of the Week, too, Aubrey Dawkins.
That's a good one Thursday. It will follow, most likely, a volleyball game for UCF Volleyball, NCAA selection show Sunday night. And for the first time in program history, the NCAA Division I volleyball tournament is coming to UCF. The Knights, selected as the 13th national seed in the 64-team tournament. They're going to host Florida Gulf Coast Thursday. Other side of the bracket, Florida and Florida State will face off. And then the winner of the 2 matches meet 7 o'clock on Friday. That's big news for UCF volleyball in what has been really a great week. They beat the Cows Wednesday night. That was UCF volleyball's 24th straight win. They were 10th in the RPI, 21st in the coaches poll, which really lagged behind really what they have been doing. The Knights finished the regular season 18-0 in league play, 27-3 overall. Let's hear from head coach Todd Dagenet.
They keep playing for each other, and the confidence kept growing, and even things went wrong. Adversity would hit, they'd still play together. And never, ever had a team quite like this. I've never had a team that was so locked in the moment. I've never had a team that played for each other so much. I've said before, it's not the most athletic, high-flying, jumping team we've ever had, but it's the best team we've ever had.
Amen to that. Give you another opportunity to salute senior, the only senior, libero Jordan Pingle. She was honored at Wednesday's game against the Cows. So big matches coming up for UCF volleyball on campus. Taking a look at what else is on the Knightline planner. Women's basketball welcomes Chattanooga. That's Friday, November 30th, 7 o'clock. And men's basketball heads to Mizzou Sunday, December 2 at 3 p.m. But they've got that big one first against Alabama home Thursday night.
All right, what has to happen for UCF to be in the CFP? An even more hard-hitting question, pancakes or waffles? Both in Ask Knightline when Knightline 172 returns.
Hey, Night Nation. It's Adam from the Sons of UCF. Be sure to check out our show every Wednesday only on the Knightline Sports Network. Now, back to 2 guys who probably won't be Cow of the Week nominees, Andrew and Trace.
Ask a Knightline is brought to you by Chad Barr Law. Chad is a UCF alumnus and diehard Knights fan. Chad Barr Law handles auto accident, slip and fall, and personal injury cases. Call Chad today at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation. That's 407-599-9036. Armor up and call Chad Barr Law today.
That's right. It is time again for Ask Knightline, answering the questions you post to us on our Facebook page or via Twitter at hashtag Ask Knightline. Forgot to mention the results of my weekly Twitter poll, which our friend Libby, who, by the way, she and her family were at the basketball game Saturday night.
Cool.
They were back in town.
They were wearing some lays, which was really, really cool.
She's unhappy with me for asking this question week in and week out, which is now the battle of 11-0 teams, which wins the head-to-head matchup, 2017 Knights or 2018 Knights. And it again is the 2017 Knights that win pretty decisively in that battle. So first question, Tim on Facebook. In light of Randy Shannon's recent success with the defense, thoughts that he might be courted for a head coaching gig elsewhere. A couple weeks ago, by the way, fans were ready to run him out of town.
Yeah.
Now?
Well, now he's turned it on.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Do you think he's got a head coaching job left in him?
I don't know. I don't know if he wants that, but we'll see, I guess, because there's some open now. There's quite a few open. Texas Tech has a job open. North Carolina has a job open, and there's probably going to be a couple more.
Yeah, I don't. I think he's back. I think he's back.
Yeah. His son's on the team. So.
Yeah, our buddy at We Are UCF Family, he's got a couple of questions here. So if UCF wins, along with at least 2 of Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Georgia losing their conference games, is there a realistic chance for our Knights to make it into the Invitational? Some things are starting to fall the right way.
Well, yeah, I mean, Michigan being out of it fell the right way, and we'll have to see the rest of them.
So you got to beat Memphis. UCF's got to take care of business.
Yeah,
or none of this matters.
All,
so that's the first objective. Yeah, I guess, God, you hate to say it, but you want Alabama to win, so it knocks Georgia out of any consideration. You don't want Georgia to play its way into the Final Four by knocking off Alabama, because you know Alabama's going to get a spot.
Yeah.
No matter what. You need Northwestern to beat Ohio State.
That girl, by the way, that's on that game, on the whatever talks about the, I don't know what they call that segment that talks about the championship and how she, immediately called the guy,
ESPN, yeah. Heather something.
Yeah, she's horrible, absolutely horrible.
It's uncalled for.
She's mean.
Yeah,
she's a witch.
Well,
I didn't say the other word. I said
you did.
witch.
Witch.
That kind of witch.
You also need Texas to beat Oklahoma, and I think that's possible. I think the tricky part in that is Northwestern's not really good.
Yeah.
And Ohio State.
Anyway, my point about her was that she was saying that she said on the show the other night that they would put a 3-loss Alabama over UCF.
Yeah, we don't.
Which is crazy.
Hey, Sons of UCF. There's a nominee for Cow of the Week.
Absolutely. Whatever.
Adam
find out
Mike,
what
there's
the,
a nominee.
Find out what the witch's name is.
Heather something or other. Kobe on Facebook, with Milton done for the foreseeable future and quarterback depth a serious concern, is a 5th-year quarterback transfer a thought? Where are we with quarterback targets? What do you know? You know what's so funny? We did half a show here where we hardly talked about the game because we were reflecting on Mackenzie Milton. And, we've got early signing period coming up. So we're going to have to get past this American Athletic Conference championship game, and we're going to have to start talking about recruiting.
I'm sure that they are starting to look at quarterbacks. They have to.
Oh, they've been looking at quarterbacks.
No, I mean, I know that, but now even more. It's very important now. I'm sure that there are 50-year transfers and there are junior college quarterbacks out there that could come in and help. But we have to, honestly, now is the time, to find that quarterback of the future anyway, because Mackenzie only has 1 more year. I'm thinking that he's probably going to have maybe 2 more years if that all works out. But we'll have to see about that for a while. It's going to be a while.
At Ian Hardos, I think the offense slows down with Mack at the helm, but this could be a blessing for our defense with a run game that Memphis brings to town. I think with a fast offense, they get way too gassed to be effective against a ground and pound offense. Your thoughts?
I think it's going to slow down a little bit, but I think that with him getting the week with the ones, that I think it's going to be a little bit more seamless than you think. I'm not saying it's going to be seamless completely, but I think that you're going to see a lot more of him throwing the ball and stuff. So they may try to run some tempo with him. They have to be working on it with him this week.
His timing is just off on several of his passes, but he's got a good arm.
Yeah, he's got an incredible arm. So he'll get it. He'll get the timing. It may not happen, hopefully it happens before the bowl game that he finds the timing. But I guarantee you, now that they know that he is the guy, that they're working with him. And I guarantee you that those wide receivers and him will be spending a lot of time together working on timing. There's a big, big thing there with timing with wide receivers and also,
in fairness, Mackenzie had been struggling with that for several weeks, if not several.
And also, there's a difference between any quarterback and another quarterback with the way that they throw the ball, the way that those receivers, are going to get the ball, where they're going to get the ball, how hard the ball is thrown to them.
He doesn't need any more of those 5-yard fastballs.
Well, no, but that's we've seen that. Blake Bortles was horrible at that back in the day of throwing those
Justin
fastballs.
Holman would do that too.
Justin Holman would do it as well. Yeah. So all that stuff, when you move to a different quarterback, the wide receivers and running backs and everybody who's catching one of his balls have to, get used to that. I did not mean it like that. Did you see Mac Loudermilk's tweet? It has been a pleasure to hold your balls. for the past, 4 years or whatever. That was awesome.
For
That
Matthew
was
Wright. Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah,
that was funny.
good.
And he had little snowballs up there.
Yeah, a little moment of levity.
It was
and
funny.
a tough weekend. At Zane_turnipseed. I'd like to know how you got.
I want to know how these people come up with these Twitter names.
Is Mac the future QB after KZ graduates? Does KZ return for his senior year? It's too soon. It's too soon.
I mean,
I'm really into Josh Heupel speak. Let's win this week before we worry about the whole future of the QB position.
This was all. This is a completely different question after Friday night. I mean, everything has changed. So
we're gonna have time to digest all of that and talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
We're
a
gonna
lot of
need
time.
Yeah, and his other question I liked, I knew you would. Why isn't McCray getting the ball 1,000 times every game?
He should be, and that's what I've been preaching.
It won't be 1,000, but it may be more than 16.
I want to see him get it 25 times at least, and I bet you we will see that now. And this could be that 230-yard rushing game that I want to see out of McCray.
At Golden Knight _2. What are your thoughts on Memphis? Without KZ, do you think we have a better chance winning from our offense or our defense? Can we stop Henderson? We're not going to stop any running back entirely.
No, but I think we have a better chance than we did before stopping him because our defense has turned the switch. The light switch has come on, and they're playing like 100% different than they were before. So
I believe in these players and this team. They rally around KZ. It's possible that the weight of everything bogs them down. But I think this team has shown that it can persevere.
I don't think so.
I don't think it will.
I think they're going to go out there playing pissed off, to be honest with you. They're going to take out all this emotion that they've had on Memphis. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to do really well. I think we're going to do really well in that game.
At PD and Ruffy, I'd like to hear your thoughts on Notre Dame not playing in a conference championship game. It seems crazy to me that some teams can lose and they're out. Notre Dame squarely in. You're not kidding. A lot of these things are rigged. There's special rules for Notre Dame, by the way.
They're independent.
Well, BYU and Army don't automatically qualify for the CFP, but Notre Dame can.
But Notre Dame plays a heck of a schedule every year. Plus, they're, they are affiliated with the ACC in some way.
But not for the purposes of this. They're not in the
as
ACC.
an independent, it's not like they're automatically qualified for it.
They are.
How are they They're not automatically qualified. They have their record has to be like in there. I mean, they have to have a decent season.
Well, yes.
They're not automatically just going to get in. Any team.
We could spend hours on the nonsense that is this system, though.
Right.
They don't play in a conference championship game, is what I think the question is about.
But do they play an extra game?
No.
They don't play any game on a conference week?
The teams that are qualifying for the conference championship typically would play 12 games. Obviously, UCF has played 11, but that's a 13th game. They don't have a 13th game.
Really?
And we've already seen, by the way, Alabama can lose, and it doesn't matter. Well, they don't even have to make their title game.
I don't know.
These rules.
I don't know. Yeah.
At Get on the Arc. At Get on the Arc on Twitter.
Okay.
What has to happen for UCF to be in the CFP? We talked a little
miracle.
Bit. No, it's getting better.
Well,
it's still a
my
miracle.
question is, do you want to be in it now?
No, yes.
You still want to be in it?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I think that
they take care of business, and I believe in them.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I mean, I guess so. It's a different thing now, so it's just different.
At UCF_national, did Andrew record the music for the intro to the show?
No, I did not. For some reason, I've tried to separate those two things from each other. My music is for other stuff. Maybe I will do some of them sometimes, but these are royalty-free. All of these music pieces that I use are royalty-free pieces that you can access on the internet.
Maybe a little acoustic show during a Nightline. Maybe you can riff into a
play
break.
Some Kumbaya or something.
Maybe
no, I don't know.
Play a little into a break.
Yeah, maybe. You never know.
At DGYN14, pancakes or waffles?
Oh, boy. This is a hard question. I'm a pancake guy, though. My wife makes the best pancakes ever. She puts chocolate chips in them sometimes, but otherwise a little bit of vanilla and cinnamon in them. Oh, my God. They're good. I eat them like just picking it up with my hand and eat it like a piece of bread. They're so good.
Is she going to the game Saturday? Is she making her? Well, she hasn't. Has she been making the
boozy
bourbon
balls?
Yeah.
The moonshine balls.
Yeah.
She has a couple times, yes.
I've missed
They
out on
don't do
that.
well in the heat, though. So since it's been warm,
Those
maybe
are
she'll
really
make
good.
some. Yeah, they are. They're good. She makes all kinds of stuff that's good. So she's an excellent baker.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I miss those. I just realized.
Well, what about you?
Mr. Celiac here doesn't eat a lot of
that's
bread,
right.
so I.
But they can. You just
I
can't have
cheat
like,
a little bit.
You can't have like buckwheat. That's like the
It's
worst.
the wheat.
That's the worst of the buckwheat, of course.
That's a recent problem diagnosed, and I'm still getting my arms around gluten-free options.
There are
So-
gluten-free pancakes out there.
Yeah, there's gluten-free a lot of
Udi
things.
makes some, I think.
Yeah, they're not as good.
Yeah,
So I cheat a little. I'm not supposed to, but
yeah, well,
like
you
those
gotta-
that liquored dessert that she makes. I might cheat on that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Thank you all for sending in your questions. You can do so every week. Hashtag Ask Knightline on Twitter or at our Facebook page.
Thank you very much. Still my favorite segment that we do. Now time for a look around the American featuring C. Austin Cox.
I'm C. Austin Cox from the AAC Daily on BCSNN, here to give you a quick look around the American Athletic Conference following college football's rivalry week. With the regular season in the books, sports fans will now be treated to a rematch of what many consider to be the most exciting college football game of the 2018 season and easily one of the most thrilling conference championship games in recent history. After topping Houston on Black Friday, the Memphis Tigers will now take on number 7 UCF in the 2018 American Athletic Conference Football Championship at Spectrum Stadium on December 1st. The winner of the American Championship will be eligible for selection to the New Year's Six Bowl game. As I mentioned, last year's AAC championship between these two teams was a thriller, producing a combined 117 points and 1,479 yards of total offense in the highest scoring conference championship game the NCAA's Football Bowl subdivision has ever seen. The UCF Knights emerged as a 62-55 winner in that double overtime win behind 494 passing yards and 6 total touchdowns from most outstanding player Mackenzie Milton. The Knights and Tigers met in the 2018 regular season as UCF rallied for a 31-30 decision at Memphis on October 13th. That game saw the Tigers build a 30-14 second-half lead before UCF stormed back to score the final 17 points. Milton provided the game-winning touchdown early in the fourth quarter on a 7-yard keeper, and the Knights held the Tigers scoreless in the final 30 minutes of play. The Knights enter this year's game on a 24-game winning streak, the longest active streak in the nation, as UCF went 11-0 this regular season and finished 8-0 in conference play for the third time in the American 6-year history. The Knights scored at least 31 points in all 11 games this year and ranked 4th nationally in total offense at 531.4 yards per game. As for Memphis, the Tigers have made a remarkable run to the American Athletic Conference Championship, one that seemed extremely unlikely after the Tigers fell to 1-3 in conference play after an October loss to UCF. Facing must-win situations in each of their last 4 conference games, the Tigers won all 4 contests by an average of 18 points to repeat as the West Division champions. Shifting gears and looking at basketball, several teams were in action on Saturday. Running down the scores, the Yukon Huskies improved to 5-1 after topping New Hampshire 91-66. After a hot start to the season, the USF Bulls have suffered their second loss in their last 3 games, falling to the Citadel on Saturday 81-84. Meanwhile, former Memphis head coach Tubby Smith isn't done coaching against AAC teams. His High Point squad got the best of ECU, topping the Pirates 55-52, dropping Joe Dooley's team to 4-3 on the season. In a battle of Cougars, Corey Davis Jr. scored 18 of his 24 points in the second half, and Cedric Alley Jr. had 19 points to lead Houston past BYU 76-62. The UCF Knights recorded a 66-53 win over last season's Horizon League champion NKU. Thanks in no small part to big man Taco Fall, who scored 20 points and grabbed 9 rebounds in the victory. And the Cincinnati Bearcats won their 5th game in a row, claiming the Emerald Coast Classic trophy by defeating the SEC's Ole Miss 71-57 on Saturday, thanks to a 25-point performance by guard Jaron Cumberland. That's just some of what's happening in the American Athletic Conference this week. To get more news and updates on the Power 6, you can catch me on the AAC Daily every Monday through Friday on the Best College Sports News Network, BCSNN, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Spotify. Now back to Andrew and Trace in Orlando with more UCF Knightline.
And now, news and notes from the world of UCF sports. Women's basketball moves to 5-1 after sweeping Richmond and Villanova at home during this weekend's UCF Thanksgiving Classic.
Women's tennis adds a pair of newcomers, Valeria Zalieva from Russia and Maria Mattel from France.
Nice. And finally, volleyball beat the Cows Wednesday to pick up 3 points in the season-long War on I-4 rivalry competition with the Cows. Then football picked up 6 more points. The Knights keep the 160-pound trophy awarded to the winner of the rivalry for another year, and now lead this year's competition 24-6. Awesome.
I'm not saying it's a done deal, but it's getting closer.
That's pretty close to being a done deal.
Well, this wasn't the easiest show in the world, but I will say I feel a little bit better talking it out.
I do too. Yeah.
We got a big week ahead.
We do. All right, this has been Knightline 172. I'm Andrew Phegley.
I'm Trace Trylko. Go Knights!
Charge on. Ohana.